Moshe said to Yahweh, See, thou sayest to me, Bring up this people, and thou hast not let me know whom thou wilt send with me. Yet thou hast said, I know thee by name, and thou hast also found favor in my sight. Now therefore, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thy sight, show me now thy ways, that I may know thee, to the end that I may find favor in thy sight. And consider that this nation is thy people. And he said, My presence shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest. And he said to him, If thy presence go not with me, carry us not up hence. For wherein now shall it be known that I have found favor in thy sight, I and thy people? Is it not in that thou goest with us, so that we are separated, I and thy people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth? And Yahweh said to Moshe, I will do this thing also that thou hast spoken, for thou hast found favor in my sight, and I know thee by name. And he said, Show me, I pray thee, thy glory. And he said, I will make all my goodness pass before thee, and will proclaim the name of Yahweh before thee, and I will grace whom I would grace, and I will mercy whom I would mercy. And he said, Thou canst not see my face, for man shall not see me and live. And Yahweh said, Behold, there is a place by me, and thou shalt stand upon the rock. And it shall become, while my glory passeth by, that I will put thee in a cleft of the rock, and will cover thee with my hand until I have passed by. And I will take away my hand, and thou shalt see my back, but my face shall not be seen. Shemot, Exodus, chapter 34. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Hew thee 2 tablets of stone like the first, and I will write upon the tablets the words that were on the first tablets, which thou hast broken. And be ready by the morning, and come up in the morning to Mount Sinai, and present thyself there to me on the top of the mountain. And no man shall come up with thee, neither let any man be seen throughout all the mount, neither let the flocks nor herds feed before that mount. And he hewed 2 tablets of stone like the first. And Moshe rose up early in the morning, and went up to Mount Sinai, as Yahweh had commanded him, and took in his hand 2 tablets of stone. And Yahweh descended in the cloud, and stood with him there, and proclaimed the name of Yahweh. And Yahweh passed by before him, and proclaimed, Yahweh, Yahweh, a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abundant in loyal ardor and truth, keeping loyal ardor for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the culpable, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, and upon the children's children, upon the 3rd and upon the 4th generation. And Moshe made haste, and bowed his head toward the earth, and worshipped. And he said, If now I have found favor in thy sight, O Lord, let the Lord, I pray thee, go in the midst of us. For it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for thy inheritance. And he said,
Behold, I make a covenant. Before all thy people I will do marvels, such as have not been created in all the earth, nor in any nation. And all the people among which thou art shall see the work of Yahweh, for it is a terrifying thing that I do with thee. Observe thou that which I command thee this day. Behold, I drive out before thee the Amori, and the Canaani, and the Chetti, and the Perezi, and the Hewi, and the Yebusi. Take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee. But ye shall break down their altars, and dash in pieces their pillars, and ye shall cut down their hasherim. For thou shalt worship no other God, for Yahweh, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they play the harlot after their gods, and sacrifice to their gods, and one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice, and thou take of their daughters to thy sons, and their daughters play the harlot after their gods, and make thy sons play the harlot after their gods. Gods of cast metal thou shalt not effectuate for thee. The festival of the unleavened breads shalt thou keep. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened breads, as I commanded thee, for the appointment of the month of the Abib. For in the month of the Abib thou camest out from Mithraim. All that openeth the womb is mine, and all thy cattle that is male, the firstlings of ox kind and sheep kind. And the firstling of a donkey thou shalt redeem with a lamb, and if thou wilt not redeem it, then thou shalt break its neck. All the firstborn of thy sons thou shalt redeem, and none shall appear before me empty. 6 days thou shalt work, but on the 7th day thou shalt rest. In plowing time and in harvest thou shalt rest. And thou shalt observe the festival of weeks, even of the first fruits of wheat harvest, and the festival of ingathering at the year's revolution. 3 times in the year shall all thy males appear before the Lord Yahweh, the God of Yisrael. For I will cast out nations before thee, and enlarge thy borders. Neither shall any man desire thy land, when thou goest up to appear before Yahweh thy God 3 times in the year. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with a leavened food, neither shall the sacrifice of the festival of the Passover be left to the morning. The first of the first fruits of thy ground thou shalt bring to the house of Yahweh thy God. Thou shalt not boil a goatling in its mother's milk.
And Yahweh said to Moshe,
Write thou these words, for after the tenor of these words I have made a covenant with thee and with Yisrael.
And he was there with Yahweh 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water, and he wrote upon the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 words. And it was, when Moshe came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets of the testimony in Moshe's hand, when he came down from the mount, that Moshe knew not that the skin of his face shone by reason of his speaking with him. And when Aaron and all the children of Israel saw Moshe, behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come near him. And Moshe called to them, and Aaron and all the rulers of the congregation returned to him, and Moshe spoke to them. And afterward all the children of Israel came near, and he gave them in command all that Yahweh had spoken with him in Mount Sinai. And when Moshe had done speaking with them, he put a veil on his face. But when Moshe went in before Yahweh to speak with him, he took the veil off until he came out. And he came out, and he spoke to the children of Israel that which he was commanded. And the children of Israel saw the face of Moshe, that the skin of Moshe's face shone. And Moshe put the veil upon his face again, until he went in to speak with him.